I can recall pretty much every moment of it in slow motion.
You're literally having the time of your life, and in a matter of a split second, things can change dramatically.
You watch somebody ripped off of the boat and go under. You know, it's two things. You know, it's one, you know, you're gonna see them again, or two, the worst thing, see them again or not see them again. Are they in, you know, what happens once they hit the water? The first things I remember is his hat popped up. And somebody, and I'm not sure who it was, somebody said, "There he is." I'm like, that's not him. And then he popped up beside his hat, and it was just blood. And I'm like, he's not good. And we started backing down. We had him on the boat, and obviously the damage was horrific.
You go from high-fiving each other to, you know, kneeling together on the back of a boat, you know, praying to God you can get to shore quick enough to save somebody's life.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
As we were fishing, I heard a mayday call come out over the radio. And I got a bit of the mayday, not really knowing what was going on, and I got a boat name. And I knew Jim and Sam were on the boat that day. So I told my captain, I'm like, hey, I mean, if we know where they're at, let's start heading that way now. And luckily enough, that day, I had another firefighter that worked with me, that was with me. And when we finally did meet up with them, I think we were about 27 miles offshore. He and I jumped in through their boat with the first aid kit we had in ours, and we got to work. All we had was us until we were able to get back to shore and get a medevac.
The damage, there's zero reason this kid's alive. I mean, none.
What can I do to try to help this guy? Because if he's a friend, you know, fished with him many a times, he is a part of our lives. We communicate on a regular basis. And I know he doesn't have the resources, and the area he comes from doesn't have the resources. And if we don't do something for this guy, I mean, his life is going to be awful. And his family's life is going to be awful.
He can't mate again. He's out of a job. Their whole lives are on the water.
Most guides, especially in other parts of the world, they don't have health insurance.
When we see one of our own in a situation where they're in need, that's when our group comes together best.
You know, we talked about some things that, you know, we could all just take money out of our own pockets and try to, you know, do things for him, like get him a wheelchair that would, you know, be adequate for the location that he's in and get him through the terrain that he's in and things like that, which we did. How much money is it going to take us to get him a house that's going to be, you know, handicap accessible, which we've accomplished. And, you know, then, you know, as time goes on, you start thinking about, like, okay, you know, we gotta, you know, how much is prosthetics? I mean, can we afford to pay for that ourselves, you know? And it just keeps going. And the answer is we can't do it all ourselves, you know, as much as we want to. But we cannot leave this guy behind.
Everybody came home that weekend. Jim Lucas kind of hit us up. He's like, hey man, like, we need to do something. And by Monday afternoon, charity was started.
You know, once we started posting on social media and getting the word out there a little bit and trying to raise some money, it was remarkable how many people around the world have reached out to us.
When these guys get hurt, you know, fishing is their sole source of income, and a lot of times in other countries, these guys are the sole providers for their family. And, you know, Jim and Sam noticed the big gap that, you know, everybody goes and has their best days of their lives on these boats and creates these memories. And when they get hurt, there's nobody there for them.
There is nothing like this anywhere in the world to help support captains and mates and fishermen, and injuries happen all the time.
This is just the start. I think it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger every year.
It just made sense for us to set our foundation up in a way that was scalable, that could deliver persistent good for the longer term.
A lot of my friends are in this community, and I've gained a lot of friends from this community.
I'm not a person who could have gotten off of that boat, went home, and just turned my back on this guy.
There's something about looking in their eyes and knowing that you're doing something that you don't have to do, but you're doing something that is changing their life.
Helping needful parties is something that's just been kind of inherent in my upbringing.
So we said, this is a good thing that we're doing, and there are a lot of people that need help. So we are going to take this thing worldwide.
Long term would be just to continue that mission into the future and try to build this and help as many people as we possibly can.
What we aspire to be is the place that they can turn to first and foremost.
I get hurt and I can't get on the water, I'm not going to go get an office job somewhere. There's an opportunity here to help people in the fishing industry. And who knows where it goes. I mean, this thing may start with the fishing, it may end up in the hunting world, it may just end up in the outdoors.
This community is one that will come together in the most desperate times and really throw down all of the resources possible to help in the time of need. That the response has been nothing short of remarkable.
I think for all of us, since this event it's sort of put life in perspective. It has, taught me how quickly life can change and how fragile life can be. And like I said earlier, after this accident, I just wanted to get home and, be with the ones I love, let them know how much I love them, and make sure I tell them that every day, because nothing's guaranteed in this world, man. And at some point I'll retire, but casting for care is something I would do for the rest of my life, and I am passionate about it, and we are going to help as many people as we can. Turning tides.
Turning tides.
Turning tides towards healing.
Casting for Care operates as a 501c3 charity.